So yeah, just want to let everybody know that when it comes to the last video is that's just the real of what it is that there's got to be something special chosen about the black community to where people just continue to look for tragedies to exploit, death to exploit, anything to exploit in the community to get wealthy off of. I mean, it's straight satanic, it's straight evil, it's a straight lie from the pit of hell. But at the same time, when you add the math up, that's literally what they're doing. They're looking for any catastrophe, any bad blood, any tragedy they can from the black community to weaponize to make bank off of. And especially for the murder, kill music part of the video. I want everyone to understand like that is something that is so crucial to the continuous death and burial of the black community. Like literally, you're literally letting these rappers make millions off of glorifying death in general, let alone a certain type of death. And the fact that you're letting these rappers make millions off of it just continues to tell me everything I need to know. People are hypocrites. And I'll definitely, God forbid, say that to the damn dead. People are hypocrites. You let these rappers make millions off of promoting and glorifying death. But then we wonder why all the death keeps popping up everywhere. There is a correlation between music and real life. Believe it or not, music is supposed to be a representation of real life. Now, I ain't gonna say there's not a bunch of lying that goes on too when it comes to what's said in music, but specifically in this sense, it's a 2 + 2 = 4 equation. Now, for me, I've personally said I think that we should leave the violence and the shooting and whatever else to the video games. Leave all the criminality, vice versa, to the video games. Just leave, leave the video games as your outlets to, get out all your dark twisted fantasies or your sick twisted fantasies or whatever you want to call it. Because it's better to do that in virtually. It's better to do that in virtual reality. Better, just virtual in general. It's better to do that in virtual than it is to live all that garbage out in real life. Because that is where our society is and how our society has gotten where it's gotten. Is that instead of leaving the shooting to the video games, leaving all the depraved to the video games, and whatever else outlet I can name there, instead of leaving them to the video games, we're enacting them out in real life. They have real life consequences, and that's why our incarceration rates are up, and so on. Vice versa, that goes into the fact that people are not really valuing their freedom and their independence. I mean, it's definitely a cancer nonetheless. It's definitely a sick drug nonetheless. It's definitely something that we never should have bought into as a society, let alone a stable, sane society nonetheless. But we did, and this is where we are now. Again, I'm not trying to tell people that I got all the answers to everything, but I'm definitely telling you that in your own grassroots community, there's so much that you can do to straighten things up, clean things up. Stop waiting for politics to do it for you, especially in this census. Literally, stop waiting for politics to clean up your community. It won't. All it does is damn, and destroy. That's all politics does these days, probably more than ever before. All politics does is damn and destroy your community. They don't help it. They don't uplift it. All they do is damn and destroy, hurt and humiliate your community. And I wish people would understand that. Like, stop putting all your stock into voting and this legislation and whatever. Stop. Now, I'm not saying don't go out there and don't exercise your right and freedom and privilege to vote. No, go out there and do what you need to do regarding that ballot box and so on. Do what you want to do. Do what you need to do. That's it. That's what you want to do. But I'm saying stop putting a 80-20 on voting versus community grassroots, groundwork community work. Like to where you put 80% behind voting and 20% behind your face-to-face human interactions with your community. because I went through that epiphany back in like 2020, 2021, and so on, where I think a lot of people personally, I think they hide behind voting as an excuse to hopefully fix all the world's problems rather than, so they don't have to try to be involved socially in their community. And I'm being as astronomically honest about that. I think that's exactly one of the top problems that's wrong with our society. People are putting all their stock into voting so they don't have to try to interact with their grassroots community and check on people and see if they're okay and get to know their neighbors. They put all their stock into it. So that's where the 80-20 part comes in. You are putting 80% of of stock into voting and then 20% into whatever else you're doing, in your personal life, interacting with others. If not, you're putting 90%, if not just all of it, into voting, thinking that's going to help solve, change, and save everything, and putting no work into your grassroots community. I want people to understand. It really even the equation should be flipped, where you put 80% into your own grassroots community relations, and you put 20% into voting and politics. I would say put no stock into voting and politics at all. But if I were to be more, whatchamacallit with it, I want to say more human with it, or whatever you want to call it. It should be 80-20 flipped the other way, where you put 80% into grassroots community work and 20% into the ballot box. I'm telling you, if you're literally waiting for the ballot box to save you, you are going to be dead before it ever does. Because I'm telling you, the ballot box is not going to save your community. It's not going to change much in your community, in my personal opinion. And it's not what you think it is. I think voting in today's day and age is a complete scam, a complete sham. Depending on what state you're in, depending on what county you're in, depending on whatever you're in, you'll learn it if you haven't already. Some of these races, if not all of them, are completely as rigged as they could already be prior to you voting. Your vote, more than ever, I don't think counts whatsoever. Because some of these districts, some of these places and states, they got strongholds all over the local government. Strongholds all over. And people ain't gonna relinquish that power no matter what. They will go through hell and heaven, and or they'll move all the mountains on the earth to remain in power and just keep on doing the same corrupt crap. Especially when, as they say, money's involved. For the love of money is roots all evil. Yeah, they're straight evil. They'll do anything they can to keep getting that money, even if it's at the detriment of your life, your community, your neighbors, you name it. They'll do it. Your business, let alone, and so on. So I really do believe voting in today's day and age is a complete sham, in my personal opinion. Nobody should trust it. And everybody should just be working in their own grassroots community with grassroots people and see what they can do to better the life and environment around them, so on. But again, that has to do with partnerships, fellowship, and people actually working together. Some people don't want any of that. But I'm telling you, it really is, try to work together until you have to move out. Because you can't live your life, and you should not live your life flustered in a bunch of division with your school board, flustered in a bunch of division with your church, or flustered in a bunch of division with whomever and whatever and wherever in your community. You should not live your life flustered with a bunch of division. I really do believe try to change what you can, and then beyond that, if you can't, for whatever reason, I think that's when you definitely should think about possibly moving somewhere else, and so on and so on. Stop letting your tax dollars go to evil people if you can control it. And that's the one thing I think we all 1000% can control, because you can control where you live, and so on. You can control where you live. You can control where your kid goes to school. You can control what you donate to. You can control everything about your lifestyle and more. You can control it. So start thinking grassroots on that when it comes to living and breathing and interacting and etc. Investing in what in what you want to learn, what you want to build, where you want to grow up. You get what I'm saying. So your boy, man, Engine to the City, out reporting for the Jacks Breeze on YouTube. God bless.